phase manner, sir. So all the PG students are coming on campus physically on all the days. Whereas the UG, we are calling them 2 days a week for physical classes, while the remaining 4 days will be online classes. So that way, sir, we are maintaining the 50% capacity, because suppose we are calling the sixth semester, the final semester students on Monday, Tuesday, then the intermediate semester students on Wednesday, Thursday, and then the fresh joinees on Friday, Saturday. That way, we are conducting the UG classes, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, I will check now picture and name.
ठीक আছে.
Thank you.
Dean, sir, with your permission, can we begin?
Yes, please begin.
Thank you, sir. Good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present here. We, Devyani Agarwal and Pratha Agarwala, on behalf of Xavier Entrepreneurship Cell of Xavier Business School, St. Xavier's University, are proud to present a panel discussion on 21st century and era of women entrepreneurship in India.
Before we begin, being an MBA student at XBS, I would like to share some escapades that fosters fellowship, inclining to our motto Nihil Ultra, which means nothing beyond, and upholding the illustrious Jesuit legacy and our commitment to creativity, leadership, and standards. This program has been designed keeping pace with the contemporary industry requirements, teaching learning process in a blend of both theory and practice, And the beyond classroom learning exercises encourage the students to nurture the creative and critical thinking skills. Residential program of XBS offers a platform to the students to build upon their cultural sensitivity, social skills, and teamwork. And the XBS family creates an environment of home away from home for the students. Now, I request our Dean, Dr. Monadeep Roy Chaudhary, to welcome our esteemed panelists. Sir.
Very good morning to all of you. And I welcome cordially all our respected panelists and our moderator. Well, we being a part of a business school, we would first of all like to say that we have chosen this topic as the call of an hour because today students should not only think of working for others, students should think of working with others and helping others get a job. So the question here is, how much of entrepreneurial skills do our students need to possess? So we would request the panelists to well explain what it is that is imperative for students to hone up for moving ahead in the style of an entrepreneurial motive or motivation, as we may say. I would say that every hour, every moment, or every minute of our living calls us to be an entrepreneur because there are various demands in the environment, our immediate environment and our environment around us. So we need to show or showcase ourselves as a package and present to the society in the way society wants us to be. But then well, there are limitations, there are hassles, there are difficulties, there are constraints. But the true entrepreneur would be able to pave his or her way through. One more word, we have chosen women entrepreneurs because women do face a lot of other hassles which men sometimes face a little less perhaps. Otherwise, our topic today is gender free. It is not about women entrepreneurship as such, it is about entrepreneurial skills as such. But we respect our three women panelists today because I believe, or we firmly believe, that in society, the challenge for women silently, covertly, or overtly is a little more than what men faces in reality. So let our students use this session as a session worthwhile to understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur in life, in decision making, in hand holding, in being empathetic, in being a person with a solid motive behind one's existence. So entrepreneurship is all about why we are and how we should lead ourselves. With this, I would ask our students to take our program forward and make it a worthwhile event. And thank you participants also to be with us this morning for this event. You may take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean sir, for your kind words.
Our panelists for the session are Ms. Surpriya Roy, Managing Director, Sugar and Spice, Ms. Shaleni Biswas, Managing Director of Easy Note Private Limited, and Ms. Soumi Banik, Managing Director of Ajanta Shoes. Our first panelist of the day is Ms. Surpriya Roy, Managing Director of Sugar and Spice, is a firm believer and an example of how women should not consider themselves weak. Instead, they should be fearless, working hard to achieve their dreams. A large measure of tenacity needed with a lifetime's fortitude. That's the recipe Miss Roy followed and was awarded with the National Award for being the best woman entrepreneur by the Ministry of Small Scale Industries in the year 2000, and the rest is history. Sugar and Spice now has more than 125 outlets all over West Bengal, with over 110 in the city itself, all adding up to the huge success of the brand. It was definitely not a cakewalk for Miss Roy, but she never gave up on her dreams, and now she's the bakery queen of Kolkata. We welcome you, ma'am.
Gone are the days where women were not considered as business leaders in society. Ms. Shaleni Biswas, our second speaker of the day, is another living example of a successful woman entrepreneur. Ms. Shaleni Biswas is the Managing Director of Easy Note Private Limited and is the woman behind Class Note from the house of premium stationery brand Easy Note Stationery Private Limited. After finishing school, when people get confused as to which stream to choose, at that very young age, she started her career towards the path of an aspiring entrepreneur. Ms. Biswas was awarded Times Business Award 2020, which is her first national award from the leading publication of the country. Easy Note Stationery Private Limited, the brand is currently present across the districts of West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Assam, Jharkhand, Northeast, and Tripura, and it aims to manufacture innovative stationery products of high quality for the retail market. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Our third speaker for the day is Ms. Soumi Banik, who is associated with more than a dozen companies as their director, the most renowned one being
Hi,
the
everybody. I started my journey in 1990. I think it's already, you have told whatever is there. You can ask me any question if you have. I can answer back.
Yes, ma'am. We will surely come to that, ma'am. We will first complete the introduction of the speakers for the day. Then we'll hand over the session to our moderator for the day, Mr. Subhashish Dutt, to take the session forward. Pritha, if you can continue with the introduction of the third speaker, please.
Yes. Our third speaker for the day is Ms. Soumi Banik, who is associated with more than a dozen companies as their director, the most renowned one being the Ajanta Footwear Group. Ajanta Shoes is a 65-year-old footwear giant commanding unshaken trust in the industry. The company has around 1,000 dealers and sub-dealers all over India and 20,000 retailers pan-India. Ajanta Footwear, the sister concern, was started in 2003 and today it has 120 company-owned showrooms spread over Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Northeast, and Orissa. To build a company is one thing, but to run it smoothly for years is another story altogether, and Ms. Banik has been doing it since years. Ms. Banik has set an example as to how a person can be successful, multi-talented person in the modern day. Ms. Banik was awarded with Women Achievers Award by Merchant Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the year 2019. We welcome you, ma'am.
Now, it's a request to all the participants that any questions pertaining to the session can be written in the chat box, which will be later taken up by the moderator during the session. Now, I hand over the session to our moderator, Mr. Subhashish Datta, who is the business head of Mohindra Datta and Sons and the General Secretary of Bengal Business Council. He has done his graduation in Commerce from St. Xavier's College and Masters from XLRI. Over to you, sir.
Welcome, everyone. And we have a group of panelists who are known to be really great entrepreneurs in their own right. And I was talking to the three panelists yesterday offline regarding how should we take the session forward. And I was really pleased to know the kind of work they have done through their journey. I would like the journey of the three panelists first, and then move on to the questions. Before that, I'll just share a bit of history. So if we don't understand the context behind which we are talking about women entrepreneurship in the 21st century. So in the Hindu scriptures, women have been described as the embodiment of Shakti. And from then on, you know, the role of the women in the family and in nation building has improved since then. They have not just been restricted to the four walls of the home, but today they are making their presence felt in lots of different walks of life, as well as in entrepreneurship. In the 18th century, when I was reading in the 18th century, it was only those retail shops, some handlooms, which were operated by women. But then it was only for a supplemental income for the family, not entrepreneurship as we know it today. During the 1991 change of the economic policy, wherein we had the LPG liberalization, privatization, and globalization coming into place, we did see some spurt in terms of women entrepreneurs coming into the market. For example, there were around 1.5 lakh women in the 1981 census before the 1991 they had come. So in 1991, around 3 lakh business women had been registered, and that was only around 11.2% of the population. Today, of course, we have names like Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw of Biocon, Shehnaz Hussain of Herbal Beauty Queen. We have Jyoti Nayak of Lijjat Papad, and of course the new trending women of India, Falguni Nair of Nykaa. So, and now over to Surpriya ma'am. Surpriya ma'am, can you hear me? Rahul, could you help me connect with Surpriya ma'am? Yes, can you hear me, ma'am? You are not audible. You should unmute your, yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am, could you share a snapshot of the journey that you had when you started? How was the idea? How did the idea of sugar and spice that took off a few decades ago? How did the idea come? Surpriya ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am, did you get my question?
Yeah, I think I have answered you. Once more, please.
Yeah, the question that I asked was, how did the idea of sugar and spice come about?
This idea, as I told you, it was a challenge for me. And basically, I wanted a root or something to hold or some way to
I think there is a serious network issue. Yeah, you may continue, ma'am.
Yeah.
So we couldn't hear much.
You can't hear much.
Yeah. Can you come back on the answer?
Yeah, sure. I can speak a little louder then.
Yes.
Because there's a network issue over there. That's right.
So how did the
I
idea?
didn't take it.
I believe you come from a pretty well-to-do family. It was you belong to the Kashim Bazar Rajbari. So why did this idea come up? I understand if there was some issue with the finances of the family, but then you came up with this new idea and made history.
The
How
thing
did
is,
this happen?
actually, I always like to do something of myself. I can do myself, and I always prefer to do it of my own. And earning something, it was maybe that dream was within me and it came out. And to help my family. to come out of the financial crisis or whatever I needed, the financial bloom, that thing I was just wanted. So I started working on it.
So where
And
was
that was
the
me, myself, only the one person that I could do it myself. So I planned something and started. So
so where
just
was
to
your
see whether I can do it.
where was your factory? When did you first? Which year did you start?
It was in that 1/2 Harish Mukherjee Road, Bhabanipur, Kolkata
Okay.
20.
So this was as your residence that you started off.
Yeah,
the
that is my resident.
Okay. So how many workers did you start off with?
Basically, there are 12 workers over there.
So just with 12 workers, and today you are 150 strong.
No. There's just only one shop over there. At the very beginning, there's one
Okay.
shop, and there's no franchisee system also. We started with one shop only and very small shop, 150 square feet.
Okay.
That was a garage at our house.
So this is another business which started off in a garage, and so 150 square feet. And today, how many stores do you have, ma'am?
Yeah, now we have 150 plus stores.
So 150 plus stores from 150 square feet shop
Yeah.
in your garage.
Yeah,
So
it's a long way and we had to go. It's hand in hand. I gathered people, we made teamwork, and we just taught them how to do it perfectly. Side by side, it was a challenge, and it was always a R&D for me. R&D not only in the bakery division, it's a business, means you have to run everything. You have to know the accounts, financing, everything. So bringing money outside from the financial institutions, we need lots of money, we need investment, plannings and production, and bringing out new products.
So did bakery
Checking the
come to
market.
you? Did bakery come to you naturally, or did you teach yourself? Like how did you learn to the basics of the
Actually,
business?
this was my liking from my very childhood. So from the very beginning, I liked it. So I learned something out of it. I learned from five-star chefs, and from Taratala Hotel Management course also I did the course. And then I started this thing, but not in a very planned way. I just learned this as because I liked it. Thereafter, I thought I should do something. I should try to earn, or I should try to teach somebody. So that was the very beginning. So when I was successful, I started this shop.
Right. Ma'am, when you started this business, during that time, not many women entrepreneurs were in the scene. So what are those initial trouble that you had as a woman? Maybe as a man, probably you wouldn't face those problems, the problems that you faced as a
Basically, I was married at a very early age. I've come from a very orthodox family, though I was very kind of independent in nature. So I never liked to ask for something like money or anything else, or the gift items or jewelries. I never liked to ask from anybody, not from my parents, not from my husband or anybody else. So whatever in my mind was, I just wanted to earn something to help my family, to stand beside them, to give them a comfort. That was my main intention. So rather than asking for something, I always preferred to look after the comfort of my people, my family, and others with whoever we are working. That's my main motto.
So your primary motivation for the business was financial independence and some sort of coming out of financial crisis in your family.
Financial
So
independence, and also independence in my daily work, in my thoughts. I never, today also, I don't like to ask anybody or take suggestions or decisions. Still today, I like to take decisions of my own, though I know it's always better to consult with others.
right.
So nowadays I try to consult, but when I see I am going slow, so then I take the decision myself and do the work, whatever is to be done. Because I believe time is the most valuable thing. So I cannot wait for time, because time will not wait for me.
Exactly.
Tomorrow I may repent. So whatever has to be done, I do it today and right now.
So I remember this conversation I had with Surpriya ma'am at her residence in Kashim Bazar, is in Murshidabad.
Yeah.
So I remember I asked her that, ma'am, do you still look after the business? And then because of her age, I asked her this question, and her reply was, "I am the business." And so that was really inspiring for me. And that even at this age, the zeal and the passion that you have for the business is incredible.
Yeah, I don't know why we mention the age. As long as we live, we should live like a human being.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, great spirit indeed. I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank you so much.
I'll come back to you. So
Sure.
I'll move on to Shaleni ma'am. Shaleni ma'am, could you tell us a bit of your story, how you started, and where are you now?
Good morning, Shubhashish. It's a pleasure to be here, sharing my journey and speaking about people who have inspired me in the process as I learned the ropes of the business with the growth and success of my company, Easy Note Stationery Private Limited. Being a woman in business comes with its fair share of hurdles, which is why it's ever so inspiring to see other women entrepreneurs who are making a difference with their business by being job creators also. It's inspiring to be here, seeing and hearing story about Surpriya Di. And it takes a powerful woman to walk the extra mile to uplift other women in society and society at large, who are basically shattering the glass ceiling and inspiring other women to rise above their challenges. An entrepreneur, I would say, is not a person who has founded a multinational company only, but also someone who shows the courage to start even a small business with a limited capital. It is that courage that makes all the difference in life, where you turn your dream into a success story. There are no shortcuts, I believe, in building a business. It doesn't matter when and where you start your journey, as long as you're willing to stay on, committed to it. And women entrepreneurs in India have proved that time and again. I must mention, as you did too, Falguni Nair, who in 2012 left Kotak as MD of Institutional Equities and Investment Division and started Nykaa at the age of 50 without any prior experience in retail beauty and technology. Like they say, it's never too late to start. Presently, Falguni Nair is India's wealthiest self-made woman entrepreneur with a net worth of 7.5 billion. And it's very inspiring. And other women entrepreneurs who deserve a mention here and who have inspired me in my journey are Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, again, as you mentioned, and also Nui, Indira Nui, who is of Indian origin. She's a business executive, a former chairperson and CEO of PepsiCo, and one of the directors on Amazon since 2019, is India's most successful global entrepreneurs. These women, they are powerhouses, they are achievers who've made women like me to go all out to conquer success in our endeavors. In fact, I started my family before I started my career. I only got to pursue my dreams after having shouldered my initial family responsibilities. So having started late, it did not feel like a burden. But in fact, and on the contrary, I was more focused and confident. Though having said that, I must also mention it was not easy for me. I spent the initial days stamping specimen copies in the godown. So I feel a challenge I faced as a woman was battling the notion that women are less capable in a professional environment compared to men. To prove a woman's worth, one has to take that extra step, walk the extra mile, and rise stronger. I did this for 3 years, and fortunately, the marketing team was in the same go down. So I learned the work in the premises and later went to lead the marketing team. I take great pride in my team at Easy Note Stationery Private Limited. The challenges we have faced together have made us stronger as a team. And leading your team, I feel, from the front makes a lot of difference, being hands-on and being one with the team and working with the team. The company moved on from being an age-old traditional chaya stationery, which was my company's name before, to a constantly growing dynamic new age futuristic Easy Note Stationery Private Limited. We realized that to make a dent in the East India's stationery market, we must have constant innovation, having newer, edgier designs, appealing to the digitally drawn generation. So in short, constantly upgrading ourselves. We are completely focused on a 360-degree branding digitization catering to our clientele. My journey of joining Chaya Prakashini as a trainee has paved for me to be the managing director of Easy Note Stationery in 20 years' time. I'm happy to share that in the middle of COVID, we were able to start a new vertical, which is the packaging unit, and we have been serving the aviation, hospitality, medical industry, education industry, and also the tea industry. So packaging has done very well for us. It has been an encouraging journey, complete with learnings and pitfalls. However, when I mention the pitfalls is given us knowledge, courage, and strength to be better and wiser. West Bengal has been the hub of entrepreneurs in the golden age of India's business travails. That is where the coinage of Shonar Bangla came from. However, in the period that we have gone through, the employment industry and development has eluded the state. In the present times, under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, we are poised perfectly to witness a growth surge. I'm happy to witness and encounter a spirited group of women entrepreneurs in the state who are creators of this change. There's a lot of change that has happened in the programming of the whole system, where women are coming all out to make a mark and rise above the situation and make a standing for themselves. I would like to tell each one of you budding entrepreneurs to follow your instinct. In the absence of experience, which was in my case in the beginning years of my journey as an entrepreneur, my instinct served as a resourceful, was very useful resource. I would always encourage you, don't be scared to make mistakes or fall, but be scared if you don't move at all. You should always pick yourself up. Don't be scared of the challenges that are there, and keep moving and learning. And I am sure you will be very successful. So I wish each one of you entrepreneurs who are taking up this cause and making a difference in society, wishing you success and full of learning, and go right ahead and achieve your dreams.
So I'm just curious to know that when you started off, did you go to the banks to take loans?
I didn't. We started with a very small capital. Okay. It was basically the main company was a publishing company. So what we did was we wanted to hold on to the same line and start off something. So what I did was wanted to start something of my own. So what we did was we extended in the same line of business and started with the stationery, where we were supplying textbook. So we added that, and now we were supplying stationery also to the schools. So initially we were only focusing on schools, but then later we had our retail clientele also, and we were present in the retail market as well.
That's great. That's great. Moving on to Soumi, ma'am. Can you hear us? You are inaudible. Yeah.
Now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So
yeah.
we would like to hear your story. It's again an incredible story. I think you're the third generation into the business.
Yes, I am.
Yes. So there will be quite a contrast in terms of the journey, where Shaleni ma'am, of course, started it off. Surpriya ma'am started it off, but at a different era altogether. And now we have Soumi ma'am, who is the third generation in Ajanta footwear. So ma'am, could you start your story as when you started off and where you have taken it today?
All right, right. So I'm Banik, and after having completed my schooling from La Martiniere and my post-graduation from Cardiff University, I directly joined business with my father. I started my journey with manufacturing units. I learned all the manufacturing of the shoes over there, the details of whatever we are making. I was in the manufacturing units on the shop floors for about 5 years. I have a 5 years experience in the manufacturing units, and it was definitely very, very challenging out there with the heat, the work. I mean, with the supervisors, the laborers. I have learned it all from the shop floor, and then I switched over to the retail. The retail again, I started. I didn't start retail, so retail was started in about 2004. I went in. I started looking at the finances, the sales, and everything, and then I thought it was really interesting, and then I started getting more hands-on into the business there. So retail, as I said, so my interest in the business comes from a lot of passion in the footwear industry. Since from the very childhood itself, I've seen my father, my mother, who were absolutely hands-on in the business, and I was pretty interested in the footwear making and the footwear selling back then. So right back in the day, we didn't have retail to sell shoes. Retail was started in 2004. And I joined retail in about 2019-ish. So 2019 is where I started learning the business. In 2020, again, there was a pandemic situation. So yes, I had to cope up with a lot of issues there. We had a lot of manpower issues. We had a lot of issues which we definitely overcame. And retail right now, we are doing a business of 125 plus shops with franchisees also. And I sell all kinds of shoes possible. I sell bags, I sell shoes. There are places I've ventured into with accessories, and a lot of varieties I'm getting into. And my accessory segment is doing pretty well. So recently this month, I'll be launching a new brand called Kiara, which will have, footwear, which will have handbags as well. So yeah, I'm sort of building up and building on, and I've just started, and there's a lot to catch on here.
Yeah,
and also I'm a new mom. So
yeah,
I'm coping with a
congratulations
lot
on
of,
that.
thank you. So I'm sort of coping up with a lot of things on a day-to-day basis, how to go about it.
And so I was just curious to know, when you started off, now being the daughter of the family, you were perhaps treated as a princess by most in your organization. So did that feel a bit overwhelming, because when you're just starting off and you're being treated differently than any other woman who would be in a leading role in your company, how did that feel?
Well, that does come with a lot of pros and cons. That sort of did affect me when I used to work on the shop floors in the factory, where people all the time, they were sort of coming to take care of whether I want coffee, I want water, and things like that. But then, yeah, when I started learning work, when I started delivering my targets, delivering my performances, things sort of fall into place. When I go into shops around Bengal and stuff, yes, there are challenges where people do treat me like that, but it's all right. Everything
Right.
comes with a pinch of salt.
So when you so how was your senior management treating you? Was it like, okay, she'll take her decisions, let's just keep shut and just listen to her and we'll do the way we want to do it? Or was it like, okay, we'll seriously listen to her?
No, it was absolutely nothing like that. I had my own challenges where everything was done how it used to be done for the last 50 years, where I had to definitely break the glass ceiling, and I had to make my own choices, make my own decisions, and hire my own manpower, and absolutely do the company on my own with time. I mean, people will take time to have confidence in me. So I think I've done that over the period of time.
Do you feel that perhaps your brother would be in a more compared to you, where you take a decision and perhaps that would not be taken so seriously, but your brothers would be?
That has never happened to me.
That's never
Touch
happened.
wood.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Never, never
Uh,
has that happened to me.
okay, but there are generational issues which perhaps had happened to you as well. While when you joined the family business, you had new ideas. Perhaps the older generation did not agree to.
Yeah, as I said, that took time. That took time for people to have confidence in my ideas and me. So right now, I think I absolutely lead my company, the retail part, on my own. I don't, ask much for guidance or decisions. I have told my father that, be it good or bad, it is my decision.
Right.
So
So you took
maybe I'll
ownership
face it
of the decisions
with
that you
time.
took for your own company, and also perseverance is something which you stayed on with. I mean, let it not go. Like, you have to take those decisions by yourself, and therefore you took. Uh, thanks for the introduction. We have a few questions. Uh,
Right.
there are some questions from the audience. So one is, how do I build a brand? So I think I don't know. Maybe I think Surpriya ma'am would be answering that question. How do I build a brand? That is one of the questions by one of our students. Is Surpriya ma'am there? I think she has gone offline. Shalini ma'am, could you answer that question?
It would be a pleasure. To build a brand, I, with my experience, I believe is to create something that is niche, and to create awareness that that product exists in the market, and then start creating more awareness of the benefits of the product, and demand for the product to be created in the market. That is when your product will be appreciated, and your brand recognition will follow through.
Right. Uh, there is another question that has come up. How do you know it's the right time to start your company? So maybe you have a product, you have the idea already set, but when is the right time that you should start your company, your venture? Show me if you could answer that question.
All right, I'm going to answer this question. I think business has a lot to do about your instincts and your experience. So ideas always come from a void in the society, a void in probably the placement of products. So when you know it is the right time, your instincts are going to tell you that how to launch everything, how to launch your products in the market, how to place your products. It is with time and experience. Experience has a lot to do with the success in the business here, and instincts, as I said.
Shubhashish, I'm going to add a little bit to what Soumi said. As I said, instinct of a person is extremely resourceful because if you follow your instinct, either it will tell you, no, this is not the right time, So following your instinct when you're doing business, yes, a certain amount of training and all that is fine. But when you go on, the markets react differently in different areas. Today, a person who's doing business in West Bengal and someone who's doing business in North India, the whole concept and strategy will be different because the mindset, the whole way of working is different. So instinct is something that one should follow, and that's a very powerful resource.
Right. So, Shukriya ma'am, there is another question that, of course, in the initial phase of starting your business, you did not have that capital, the backing of a management structure. So during those times, how did you manage things? How was it like? Were you how were you managing your family at the same time, your business, where you do not have a support system with you? How did you do that? Shukriya ma'am, can you hear me? I think her network went off again. So Soumi, could you answer that?
Could you come?
I think
Could you
Shukriya ma'am
come
is
with the
back.
question,
Yes.
please?
Ma'am, could you unmute yourself? It's gone again. Soumi ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah, could you ask me the question again, please?
Yeah, the question was that when you start your business or you're involved and you have to manage your family at the same time, your business, you don't have a management structure, you don't have the capital. How do you manage at that point in time?
See, business has a lot to do with thinking over the period of time. I mean, business is not absolutely working in the business hours only, right? Business is thinking during the night time also, when you're awake at night. I think that is when a lot of ideas happen to come about. And the business hours is your implementation, but business is thinking throughout the night on what you're going to do the next morning. So the management has to come at a point of time when you're thinking about it. You have to figure it out on your own. I mean, we don't, be it men or women, none of us have it easy. It's how we deal about life. And if we think we're going to have it all and conquer it all, it doesn't really come that way. There are wins and losses. We have to handle it that way. We maybe there will be losses and gains. Maybe some fronts we do not put entirely to our family. Maybe some fronts, maybe business wise, we won't have it all. We have to figure it out. So that way, yeah.
Right. So
It
you
is your
think
ideas
that
and challenges, I think.
so you had all the support from your family in terms of, like supposing there is a business meeting you have to attend and there is a family function that you have to attend on the same day. What do you choose?
Well, I touch wood, I'm very lucky. I didn't have to face this situation at all because it's a family business again. And I'm very liberal that I can schedule my business meetings or family functions according to my own ways. I mean, I never had to face this part at all.
Right.
But again, I think my family has been extremely supportive with me, be it my father, my brother, my husband. These three men have been my pillars of support throughout. I don't think I would be able to do much without the three of them. I mean, the way my husband also supports me, it's like, I would say it's tremendous support from his end. My father is there, my brother, the way he comes in also, gives an input for my business. I'm very, very grateful to these three men in my life.
Right.
because of which, I mean, a woman like me has been able to stand, because there is a lot of, things go on in the family background and family issues as well. So I think, with men being supportive is a big role.
Surpriya ma'am, can you hear us? I think the network is still bad. Yeah, so we have another question, which is what advice would you give to the next generation of female leaders?
Who's supposed to answer that?
Shaleni, can you answer the question?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the advice would be that don't doubt yourself. If you believe in your plan, if you believe in what you decide to do, if you have a business plan, there will be people who will be discouraging in life, and there'll be people who will be strengths in your life. You need to basically believe in yourself and follow through with your plan. And as per time goes, as for business success goes, it's all a process. So if you believe in your plan, if you believe the journey that you decide to take, make the courage, go right ahead, follow through with your plan, and you will be successful. So go right ahead.
That's a great advice. So we have another question for you. This is for Shalini ma'am. How this COVID pandemic is forcing schools to close and go online made you cope up with the loss in the market? At present, is the stationery markets, exercise books coming back back to the pre-COVID situations. So are the demand for exercise books going up, or has it really come down and stayed that way?
Well, it was a very big hit because the main business was dependent on school and the educational industry at large. So when the pandemic hit, what happened was my team and me, we planned, and we stayed back in office, and then what we did was we started a packaging unit. So I'm very grateful. The pandemic has not been all bad. There are positive sides to it also, because that is what made us start a new vertical, which is the packaging unit. We were supplying throughout the pandemic, even the lockdowns, we were supplying essential goods to hospitals, and all the pack foods that were being sent, all the packaging for that were made by us. So my whole team stayed back in office, and we started supplying to the aviation industry. All the flights, they did not use, they had these plastic boxes, paper boxes, which the food was being served in. So all that were being manufactured by us. So what the pandemic did was get us into packaging, and we started supplying the medical industry, the aviation industry, and so that was how we basically cut our losses. And because the schools were closed, so there was no earnings from there, but the packaging vertical took on, and it was a success there. So I'm very happy. So it balanced out. And to come back to where the schools are reopening, it's a slow progress, but yes, there are no complaints, because things are coming about and schools are opening, and we have been getting a lot of school orders, and the market is not back to working on its fullest capacity, but it is in process. So things will be fine. I'm very positive about that.
Yeah, so there's no door closing for business, but then again, if one door doesn't open, the other opens for you.
There are many doors, trust me.
Right. So in fact, I was speaking to Shagnik, Shoumi's brother, when he said that the shoe business, again, people were not going out during the pandemic. There's a huge, after the markets opened up, there was some market in some part of the country which did not open, but the Calcutta market did. And so since that particular market didn't open, an entire avalanche of orders started coming into Calcutta, and which benefited Ajanta. So in those ways, you start extracting opportunities which don't come your way, but you grab them. So I think, ingenuity, like Shaleni said, that they moved into packaging when the stationery business didn't work. So there were many businesses where the models changed. Surpriya ma'am, are you back? Can you hear us? I think there is a serious network issue there. Show me. So what did you do when there was a serious challenge in terms of retaining your manpower when it came to dealing with the pandemic? So what are the things that you did during that time to retain or maybe keep the motivation high among your staff? HR is a very important part of running any business. So how did you manage that?
See, during the pandemic, what happened was that when most of the shoes, I mean, the high-end shoes were not selling, so our Hawaii sales went up. So I don't think I really had an issue in retaining the manpower that way. So I gave them targets regarding the Hawaii and those kind of segments. And well, I did a lot of showroom renovation work back in the day when there was a shutdown. And I think I did keep the spirit going for them. I didn't have an issue that way because we have so many different segments of footwear we are selling. And that's when I did my e-com business. So all the manpower who was sitting idle, I set them up for photo shoots. I set them up for uploading the footwears on all the variety of the platforms that we have online. So I think I could keep them going. No, not for a moment did I have a very dull moment or something. I made them absolutely work.
So you
yeah.
used your manpower
all
for.
about-
So you used your manpower for jobs which would be relevant during a full closure of the
Absolutely.
business at that time.
And thanks to the pandemic, I think we focused a lot on the e-com platform, and I did a phenomenal business back then
Right.
for the
So,
pandemic. So yeah.
So do you think the e-com business is there to grow?
It is absolutely there to grow, and we are doing very, very well in the e-com platform.
Right. I think we are not going to get Surpriya ma'am back because I think the network is really bad. Do we have any more questions? I don't think there is one more question. Yes, so there is this question, when you began your career many years ago, did you ever imagine that you would have a leadership role in this profession or organization? I think that question doesn't really apply to the three of you because you were already in the leadership role from the beginning when you started off. So it doesn't apply, but of course there are people like perhaps Indra Nui who did grow up the ladder and reach to the point where she is. So anyway, is there any other question? Yes. So there's this question: what advice would you give to someone who is interested in starting their own business? So there are a lot of students who would want to build a business, don't have the confidence. They feel capital is everything. Without capital, they can't really start up a business. So what advice do you give them? So can they start a business while doing their MBA?
Who is that question for?
That question is for three of you, but of course, Surpriya ma'am, I think network is still bad. So Shaleni ma'am, you can take this question.
As I said that it's all about believing in your dream, what you have planned. An entrepreneur is not someone who starts off with a huge capital. You can start off small. And we have so many examples of people who have started off small with a small capital and they have built it and they have really made it big. So I totally encourage all the budding entrepreneurs who have their dreams set and they want to pursue entrepreneurship and to go right ahead. It is the courage for you to start that makes all the difference. There are doubts. We've all had doubts at some point or the other that, like, are we on the right path? What are we doing? There will be challenges. There will be tests that you will be put through. Don't give up on yourself. Hold your strength and move on. And I'm sure you will be very successful. But courage and keep moving on. You will get there. Don't give up on your dream, and I would encourage that most importantly.
Soumi, could you take that question as well?
Yeah, I think believing in yourself is very, very, very important. Believing in yourself and your dreams, yes, again, what she was saying. So, and at the same time, I think you have to be very confident in the product that you are selling. You have to have that convincing powers in order to convince the others of whatever thought process that you have. So I think that is very important to have the salesman spirit within us.
Right. And Surpriya ma'am is really doing multitasking at this point. She's right at the kitchen as well as, listening to us. Ma'am, are you there? Can you hear us? Ma'am, you unmute yourself. I think the voice isn't going through somehow. Anyway, I think Rahul, there are no more questions that I have on the chat box. So if you could move on with the proceedings. Thank you for the session. It was really, really informative, and I think it helped most of you in the audience.
Thank you, sir. We'll just.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
I would like to extend a heartfelt gratitude to all our speakers for the day for sharing their thoughts with our young minds. I'm sure all the students here have learned a lot about entrepreneurship and the management skills required. Now, I would like Rahul Thakur to propose the vote of thanks.
John Kennedy once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not just to utter words, but to live by them. I, Rahul Thakur, on behalf of Xavier Business School, St. Xavier's University, Kolkata, would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has contributed in making this webinar a grand success. I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Reverend Father Dr. John Felix Raj, SJ, for being our pillar of support throughout. My sincere appreciation to our Pro Vice Chancellor, Reverend Father Sebastian Raj, SJ, and our Registrar, Professor Ashish Mitra, for providing us operational help as and when we required it. I would like to extend my deepest regard and appreciation to our esteemed panelists for today, Ms. Surpriya Roy, Ms. Soumi Banik, Ms. Shaleni Biswas, and the moderator for our session, Mr. Subhashish Datta. If students are born with wings, teachers are the one who help them fly. We could not have been able to pull off such a grand event without them. I would like to thank our respected Dean Sir, Dr. Monodip Roy Chaudhary, for his constant guidance and support throughout. I would also like to thank all our faculty members who have been motivating us since day zero and being our pillar of success. I would also like to mention deepest regards and appreciation to all the coordinators of the committee, without whose support the session wouldn't have been successful. Thank you to all the participants for their valuable attention and cooperation. In case of any queries pertaining to the discussion or XBS, students are free to contact the professor in charge. We have shared their contact details in the chat box. We just showed you a small portion of what XBS can truly accomplish. There are several events lined up in the near future, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It was a pleasure to share our stories. Thank you so much.